But of course, the interesting action is going to be watching Andy Jordan and Ash Sutton charging through from the back.
Indeed, Andy Jordan 30th, Ash Sutton 22nd. Michael Cain's car you just looked at there. There's fears that that is dropping some liquid. Some liquid down at the old hairpin has been treated, and it did look as though there was just a little bit of residue underneath the car on that grid shot. So 16 laps, round 4 of the championship about to get underway because the cars are released onto this final formation lap. The point has been made all day by some of those that have been out in it, how bitterly cold it is, and it is going to be a struggle to get warmth into the tyres. Drivers yesterday on not really a wet track but a greasy track were struggling for a balance, and now they've got a different type of problem, which is that it's a stone cold circuit. Josh Cook, first pole position. Power Max Racing, first pole position. So let's have a look at how they will line up. Josh Cook on pole with Chris Smiley on the option tyre lining up alongside. In the second row, Sam Tordoff and then Dan Camage. It's Aidan Moffat, a winner here last year on row 3, with Jack Goff second in the championship for company with 66 kilos of weight ahead of James Nash, who's also on the option tyre, and then Tom Chilton. Brett Smith is 9th, and Tom Oliphant, another rookie this year, is 10th. Colin Turkington, 11th. He's got 33 kilos on board. James Cole for company. Adam Morgan, 57 kilos, option tyre, struggled in qualifying yesterday. Matt Simpson is alongside him. Then it's Brands winners, Senna Proctor and the championship leader Tom Ingram with 75 kilos and the hard tyre, getting the pain out of the way early. Matt Neal still learning about the new car on row 9 with rookie Sam Smelt. Then it's Rory Butcher and Rob Austin's Alfa Romeo, quickest here in the dry on media day. Behind Dan comes Jason Plato and Ash Sutton. The two Subarus should indeed need to make progress ahead of Stephen Jelly and rookie Bobby Thompson. Rob Collard, one to watch from row 13, Josh Price for company. Ollie Jackson's on the 14th row with the Dunlop Forever Forward award leader Mike Bushell alongside. Then it's Tom Boardman and Andrew Jordan, both of whom should make progress. Michael Cain, fingers crossed for him, and his teammate Jake Hill for Team Hard at the back of the grid. As I say, Michael Cain might have this liquid leak, so hopefully he'll be OK for 16 laps. Now, who carries what in terms of weight? Championship ballast it is, so 75 kilos for Tom Ingram, 66 for Jack Goff, 57 for Adam Morgan, 33 for Colin Turkington in that leading group. You can see who's on the option tyre as well, with Chris Smiley being one of those up and near the front, trying to get the pain out of the way in that first race. But if you're on the greater amount of weight in the championship, well, you know you're going to struggle in the first race, so you might as well use that harder tyre in the first race, get all the pain out of the way, and Dunlop is saying that it's going to be a good chunk slower. Now, there is Jake Hill. Jake, a real star in the second race at Brands Hatch, but Jake now starting at the back of the grid. This is going to be a big, big ask of you to get up the order. What are the chances?
Well, this is going to be fun, isn't it, David? Yeah, starting from last, obviously, not ideal after failing the right way. But, you know, let's just go for it. Me and Caney have already said, you know, let's just work together, try and get through. No doubt it will kick off at some point as well, so let's just see what we can do.
I suppose one good thing is that, in theory, you're behind where it might kick off rather than being in the middle of it. Yeah,
that's exactly it, you know. It does always kick off. This is British touring cars, isn't it? So it's good fun, but, you know, I'm just trying to get these tyres warm and hopefully go with Caney and get through. Obviously, Jordan's in front as well, which is good, because obviously he's rapid, as we all know, and we can hopefully try and tag on and just go for it.
And how cold is this track? Is it really hard getting warmth into tyres?
Yeah, these rears aren't very happy, but you know, we'll make it work, I'm sure, and have a great race. Let's hope so.
Jake, good luck.
Thanks, guys.
So Jake Hill up to the grid. You can see how big the grid is because already Josh Cook is there, waiting, and look, not yet down to the chicane, the back of the grid.
Yeah, 32 cars takes a little bit of lining up, doesn't it? It's still got some way to go, so they'll be sitting on the front for a little while. These cars will be okay. Certainly in these stage temperatures, they're not going to overheat sitting on the front, but it just ramps up the little adrenaline that's coursing through the veins of Josh Cook and Chris Smiley on the front there. So it's all going to be eyes on them at the front.
So it is 16 laps. The Donington National Circuit, just under 2 miles in length. It's always been a circuit that delivers good racing, just the nature of it, and especially that chicane with the long straight and then the hard braking zone into the chicane. It's very spectacular these days with the sausage curbs. Aidan Moffat came a cropper yesterday, broke the suspension. He said, I know it was a risk, but it was worth taking. It didn't work, but had it, he would have been a hero. So let's see who the hero is going to be in round 4 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. The grid is back, the lights are red. It's Josh Cook on pole position. Lights go out, good start by Chris Smiley. Can he get up alongside the Vauxhall? Camish is away nicely as well as they run towards Redgate. Smiley can't out-track Cook, he moves across the defence from Tordoff. Camish on the outside line as they dive into Redgate. Camish breaks as late as he can, he goes up to third, he goes up to second. Tordoff's up the inside as well. Moffat tries to go with him. Cook slow out of the corner, 3 wide. Smiley on the inside will grab the lead. Fantastic as they go through Hollywood for the first time. It is Chris Smiley who leads. Josh Cook comes back at him on the inside line midway through the craters. He's back in the lead. Smiley second, Camish third, Tordoff fourth, Aidan Moffat fifth. Wow, what a first couple of corners.
Well, the cars were all looking very nervous indeed as they... I think that might have been Matt Simpson, not sure. But the cars looking very nervous with cold rear tyres. They've crossed them over on the grid, remember, but this is the first time they've had the slick tyres on the cars this weekend.
Drama in the background, Adam Morgan off, Tom Oliphant delayed. I fear the 2 Sicily cars may well have come into contact, but off the road, Adam Morgan, he avoids the gravel, look very intelligently, goes for the grass to get back on track as Camish comes up to attack Smiley. It is Cook getting away. Now Camish is under attack from Tordoff. Aidan Moffat is in the mix as well. Remember, Josh Cook has not yet had a BTCC winner. Smiley dives up the inside. Sorry, Camish dives up the inside for second and goes through. So Dan Camish picks up second spot. This new Team Dynamics run Honda Civic ahead of the X-Dynamics car of Smiley down to third, then fourth is Tordoff as they come across the line, fifth is Moffat, sixth is Goff, seventh is Smith, eighth is Chilton. Down towards Redgate they dive, and Josh Cook leading at the end of lap 1 by 8/10 of a second, and Chilton up the inside, elbows up, trying to get a place.
Now, I know that the Dynamics cars have got 3 abreast going through Hollywood down the Craner curve. Something's got to give here, Brett Smith. Oh, just get through. No, the Paul Motorbase cars is off, comes back on, and Chilton just holds it. Did he get rid of that little marker board as well at the same time? He did, so he won't overheat.
Matt Neal got a bit of it, but it's got shot of that. So Chilton all over the grass. Thankfully, didn't get collected by anybody. Through goes Jordan, through goes Hill. And Chilton is back on track, albeit delayed. Now, Dan Camish is the man to watch here as Tom Ingram gets sideways in the background, possibly with a little bit of help, because Camish is lapping quicker in sector 1 at least than the leader Josh Cook. The gap was 8/10 and it's coming down. It's game on for third. Tordoff and Moffat now attack Chris Smiley. Remember, he's on the harder tyre, which is expected to be the slower. So he's struggling to defend as Tordoff goes third and Aidan Moffat is up into 4th place. Then it's Brett Smith ahead of Jack Goff, the next pair to come up and attack.
Yeah, I think Camish knew that Smiley was on the hard tyre, so he attacked him immediately at the end of lap 1. And also the Dynamics cars, I know that Camish is using the carryover tyres from Brands Hatch. They didn't use in race 2, so they're already scrubbed in. That gives them an advantage at the start on people that have put brand new tyres with a shiny surface on.
And lower down the order, Rob Collard started 25th and he's now running 14th after 2 laps, so doing his usual stellar job as now Smiley comes under attack from Brett Smith on the outside in the Eurotech Honda. Can he go through there? No, he can't. So Chris Smiley on that harder tyre, struggling now and dropping back into the pack. Colin Turkington further back, he's on the tail of James Cole, 8th and 9th, and he's another one making progress. So it is Cook to Camish, the gap down from 8/10 to 6/10. Camish has done the fastest lap of the race. Smiley goes a little bit wide. Brett Smith up the inside. Jack Goff up the inside as well. James Cole tries to buy into this as well. Then it's Turkington and Ingram. They dive into Coppice. And there's really nothing here that Smiley can do.
It's so difficult for him. He's handicapped by running the hard tyre, and you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you fight for your position, you end up getting nerfed and 3 or 4 cars go through. And he's really, really holding out well, but there's nothing much he can do on the slower tyre.
So up towards the timing line he will come then. Cook to Camish, the gap is down again to 4/10 of a second. It's Tordoff third. In 4th place is Aidan Moffat getting away. 5th is Brett Smith. And then 6th is almost everybody else all stacked up behind Smiley, because Smiley is 6th, Goff 7th, James Cole is 8th, Turkington is 9th. And now Tom Ingram is under attack from Senna Proctor, coming out of Redgate, and Proctor up the inside. Remember, his car is much lighter, and it goes through. So Senna Proctor is into the top 10.
Yeah, good move. And interestingly, Tordoff on his first lap now, released from Smiley, set the fastest lap of the race. So he's the fastest man as he chases down Camish and Cook.
On board with Turkington staring at the back of James Cole. You're riding in the 9th place car here, and off the road has gone Mike Bushell. That is down at the old hairpin. You can tell he's not the first person to have gone off over the course of the weekend. He won't be the last, because there is Sam Smelt, who has also gone AWOL, back on track. And that's a shame, because he qualified pretty well yesterday, did the touring car rookie. Right, Turkington lining up to have a go at James Cole, who is on the tail of Jack Goff, who is on the tail of Chris Smiley as they come down towards the chicane. Cole goes one side of a lead-laden Honda, 66 kilos. Remember, Jack Goff's lugging around. James Cole goes one side and then the other. And look, they're all queuing up behind the Ford as well.
Yeah, well, Goff's got double jeopardy, hasn't he? He's got 66 kilos and the hard tyre, bless him. So he's really fighting for everything he can get.
And doing a good job, actually, as James Cole goes from one side to the other. Proctor's on his toes. Matt Neal comes up the inside of Tom Ingram now as well and takes a place away. Remember, Ingram, hard tyre and 75 kilos. James Cole squeezes up the inside and through he goes. Proctor comes up to attack Turkington, who comes up to attack Goff, and this is the view, down through the Crater curves. Goff rides the curve. Turkington is sideways, possibly with help, and round he goes, and Ingram's going to make contact. No, he just misses him. Can Turkington keep out of the gravel? He can, somehow. Well saved, that man. But did he fall or was he pushed?
Just bunching, I think, but we'll have to see it again. But he did very well not to spin off in the gravel and keep going and potential salvage some points. This is on board with Proctor. There you've got the BMW on the right as they come. They're just the tiniest of touches, look. Just the tiniest. No, you can't really blame. So side by side through there, trying to hang on to the car. Look, it's almost impossible. So it's just one of those things, I think. Oh, good avoidance there as well.
Tom Ingram, oh so close. Eyes out like chapel hat pegs after that. That was inches away from disaster, and he just managed to jink around. So Ingram survives, Turkington survives in the race, but a long way down. Now, fastest lap, Aidan Moffat running in 4th place, creeping into the mix against the leaders. It's still Josh Cook hanging on in there, and he's actually stretched away from Camish as Matt Neal now attacks Senna Proctor. This is the battle for 9th place. Ingram behind them is in 11th. Remember, coming into this race as the championship leader. Matt Neal goes through on the inside. These conditions far better, it seems, for the Honda than the greasy track state of yesterday. Down towards the old hairpin. So Cook, Camish, toured off Moffat. That's the leading quartet, covered by 3 seconds. And there's a mechanical warning flag being prepared for Stephen Jelly's BMW. This is Jake Hill, who's up to 24th from 32nd on the grid. Yeah, but look at his windscreen. Looks like he's taking part in the rallycross event, doesn't he? He's got mud and grime all over it. But that's what happens when you start from the back and everybody's all over the place. He's still circulating and still creeping up the order, whereas poor old Matt Simpson is the one in stride, having gone very wide on the end of the race. So down they come towards the chicane. Matt Neal dives up the inside there of Jack Goff and takes another place. Remember, Matt Neal's got no weight on, 66 kilos plus the harder, slower tyre for Jack Goff. So there's little he can do to prevent all of this. Cook to Camish, that lead gap is going up to 8/10 of a second now. Yeah, that was probably one of the easiest passes Matt Neal will make, and certainly the Honda wouldn't have held him off particularly there. Chris Smiley in the world's widest Honda, trying to keep James Cole at bay. Matt Neal up through the traffic centre, Proctor getting past Jack Goff as well. So Smiley still being able to keep James Cole at bay, but for how much longer? There's a gap on the inside, but James not really able to commit to that. And these two, remember, 6th and 7th, falling away from the pack ahead of Smiley, doing what he has to do, which is to defend. Yeah, but poor old James Cole, he's been looking at the back of that car now, the BTC Norlin Honda, for quite a while. He'd be very frustrated he hasn't been able to get through, because there's a big gap in front of Smiley, some 3.5 seconds to Brett Smith. So through they come, still nose to tail. We're on lap 7 out of the 16. And up front, by the way, Josh Cook, fastest lap of the race now as he creeps clear of Dan Camish, the best of the rookies, as he comes into the approach to Redgate for the 8th time. You're looking at the Smiley-Cole battle, still for 6th and 7th places. Now that is for 3rd, where the gap has come right down. Sam Tordoff in the Ford, the Motorbase Ford, just ahead of the Laser Tools Racing Mercedes of Aidan Moffat, who went so well at Brands, but was pretty unlucky, you've got to say. Here, he could yet be on the podium, couldn't he? Because he's creeping up onto the tail of Tordoff. Yeah, he's been looking quick in all conditions all weekend, and they seem to have got a good handle on that Mercedes. Of course, there are 3 Mercedes running this year, but Aidan Moffat looks the quickest of the 3 so far at both meetings. He wanted a wet track because he loves greasy conditions from his oval racing routes and slippery surfaces, but here in the dry he's going very well. So also you see Tom Chilton fighting back against Ollie Jackson with Andrew Jordan right up behind him in the BMW. Great battle pack here, raging on as they make the run behind James Nash up towards Schwantz Curve now. And Jake Hill has a look to the inside of the BMW of Jordan, can't find a way through to McLean's. Lap 8 they turn. And a sideways Chilton. Does he hang on to it? He goes one side. And he goes off and he demolishes the markers Ollie Jackson goes through on the inside, Jake Hill to the outside of Jordan, so it's Chilton having a second off that slides back down the field. It's a real snakes and ladders race for him, this.
Yeah, this time, though, he has collected one of the banner balls.
Yes.
Fortunately, it's colour-coded to the car, so the Dunlop yellow board matching the Motorbase yellow.
It's all camouflage. Jackson launching himself up the curve. Jordan behind him then as they come towards the line. Just further up the road, Turkington after his spin is 60. There's Ingram under attack from Rob Austin, who's under attack from Senna Proctor. They're side by side as they run out of Redgate. Just about everybody has got a battle going on there. The recovering Turkington tries to get up the inside of the MG of Rory Butcher, goes through, and behind them, look, you've got Ash Sutton, the reigning champion, creeping into the picture as well.
Yeah, Sutton's driven well from the back. He's got himself up into 17th place, but he's right on the back of this group, so let's see if he can make some progress through there.
Tom Chilton has made a pit stop, by the way, to get rid of the trackside furniture, so he's delayed and back into the race, which is currently on lap number 9.
The reason that Sutton was back on the grid was because of engine problems. All the Subarus are now running the Swindon prepared, built and engine managed Subaru engine, obviously taken over from Mountune, but they had to put the spare engine in Sutton's car, and there was a little clutch problem. We saw it qualifying, he couldn't pull away, so he was only able to complete one lap, so that's why he started on the back. But it does mean that they've no spare engine for the rest of this weekend, should they need one.
Indeed so, fingers crossed that's not going to be an issue as McNeil goes to the inside of Chris Smiley. There's just about the room, and through goes McNeil then on the inside line, and he picks up 7th place. Senna Proctor next in the queue will try to challenge as well before we get to the end. So McNeil working his way up the order here, having started 17th on the grid.
And look how much further up the road James Cole is now that he's finally got past Smiley. Shows how much he was holding him up. But Matt Neal loves this place, obviously. Local circuit for him. One we've seen him do so much overtaking at over the years, particularly into this corner, McLean's. That's one of his favourite places to pass. But he put on a sweet move into Redgate there up the inside of Smiley.
So there, looking into the pack, Rob Collard in the leading BMW, about to make a move against Tom Ingram for 11th place. Through he goes. So this is the Rob Collard. We didn't really see it at Brands Hatch, but he's going great guns here. 25th he started, and now in 11th place he runs.
Yeah, and Ingram with the same sort of problem as Goff, with running the hard tyre because of running maximum ballast, wanting to get rid of that in this first race, really just not putting up too much of a defence, which is the right thing to do to get rid of it. Now, that was Tordoff into the pits. That was the Gardex Motorbase Ford of Tordoff pulling off 3rd place.
So down the pit lane, Sam Tordoff, down to Redgate, Oliphant, just ahead of Goff, ahead of Collard, ahead of Turkington, who goes ahead of Ingram. They all gain 1 place anyway, with Tordoff peeling into the pit lane, and this does not look good at all, does it?
What a shame for Motorbase, for Sam Tordoff, because of course it ruins his whole weekend. He has to start the second race at the back. You know, he could have really had a strong result. It looked like a certain podium.
Oh dear, so Cook, Camish, Moffat becomes the top 3. Brett Smith running 4th, could be on for his best ever touring car finish here. And can he do anything about those ahead of him? His last lap was comparable to Moffat, but not quite as quick. Jack Goff under attack from Collard, who now goes to the inside line up towards Coppice. He should be able to go through, much lighter car. He does go through, he's on a better tyre as well. And Turkington in another recovery drive, like we saw at Brands Hatch here, tries to make a move as well, and you've got Sutton coming up to attack Ingram. It's going to be another day of changing fortunes, isn't it? But Josh Cook out front, 1.9 seconds ahead of Dan Camish now. He's disappeared up the road as the BMs launch themselves through the chicane.
Yeah, great drive by Josh Cook. We've not seen too much of him so far, but I'm so pleased that he's been able to convert that wet weather pace. There he is, into some a dry potential race-winning pace. There's Camish. Matt Simpson in between them is a lap down, but that's the gap. Aidan Moffat, so the gap almost equidistant, 1st to 2nd, 2nd to 3rd.
Chris Smiley still the leading driver on the harder tyre. As you see Josh Cook, it's been a long time coming, the first BTCC win. We're not there yet, but it's looking good for him. He leads, as I say, by 1.9 seconds, and he's got the fastest lap of the race as well. So if he can do it, pole win and fastest lap, the triple whammy, that is a very good way of saying to people, right, take me seriously, I can do it.
Well, Josh is a confidence driver, and I think some of his confidence got a little bit bashed as teammate to Ash Sutton, didn't it? But this is the perfect opportunity with a team he knows well, and he's making the most of it and proving to everybody that he's as good as anyone.
Theo star of years past and could be our fourth different winner in 4 races. He comes across the line, the gap 1.9 seconds still over Cammish. Moffat third is dropping back. First to third is 4 seconds now. Aidan Moffat just fractionally slower than Dan Cammish, but a podium would still be a decent result for him. 4th, Brett Smith. James Cole 5th. Matt Neal 6th, remember. 17th he started, 60 runs, another haul of points for Forever Forward, which Matt won in fact last year. Now there's Collard and Turkington running together. This is 10th and 11th, the 2 BMWs. Another amazing overtaking job by Rob Collard, but he goes wide at Redgate, and that means that through goes Turkington. Collard is about to lose 1 spot, so he had gained 15 places in Forever Forward. Scrub one of those because Turkington, his teammate, has just gone past him.
Yeah, but they're moving nicely forward in tandem, aren't they? Getting themselves in the right place for later in the day. But it's been a fine drive by Matt Neal, as you say, through to 6th, and proving that this new Honda Type R has got some race pace in it. We knew it had qualifying pace, certainly in the wet and the dry, but didn't know if it had overall race pace.
Now, in parish news, as it were, Aidan Moffat's being given a driving standards flag for track limits, and Tom Chilton's done the fastest lap of the race. This is Jason Plato versus Mike Bushell, who dives up the inside curb and all. Don't care if you're a champion, through he goes. Leans on Jason. Jason gets onto the grass. Bushell ahead of Plato.
Well, we knew Mike Bushell wasn't going to be a respecter of anybody this year, coming back into touring cars, having won Clio's convincingly last year, and he's proving that. He's shown some good pace so far.
And he was aggressive at Brands Hatch, a very different type of Mike Bushell from that we saw 2 or 3 seasons back. Right, we're on lap 14 of 16, and Josh Cook is perhaps now starting to prepare the victory speech, because he lead by over 2 seconds as Dan Cammish drops away. But for Power Max Racing, they won at Brands Hatch thanks to Senna Proctor. Can the team win here as well? And can Josh Cook take that first VTCC win? Mike Bushell off the road at Redgate a lap later. How he got there we will come to in a moment, I'm sure, but up front Josh Cook has driven faultlessly in this race thus far, and he will come through with only a couple of laps to go. Now Chris Smiley's life is not getting any easier. He's still having to defend for all he's worth. Senna Proctor is behind him. Smiley is 7th. And actually, that's not a bad effort, given that he's on that slower tyre. Yeah,
I mean, I said top 6 he'd be very happy with, and I think he's done a great job. Yes, he's got no weight in it, so he hasn't got the double whammy like Ingram and Goff have got, but he's still driven very well. It's easy to lose your rag when you've got lots of faster cars around you on softer tyres.
I mean, if you take his teammate James Nash, who, again, is weight-free but harder tyre, he's down in 18th place. He started a bit lower, but he, doesn't know the cars as well. First season in this spec touring car, he's dropped away a little bit more, but Smiley still under attack. Look, but keeping Proctor at bay. Tom Oliphant is going nicely in 9th place. We saw him potentially being involved in that first lap skirmish with Adam Morgan, his Sicily teammate, but Oliphant is 9th, and Turkington is up into the top 10 now, remember. 2 laps to go, less than 2 laps to go now. Up through Schwantz Curve they will go in a moment, then up towards McLean's Corner. Cook leading Cammish by 2.4 seconds. Cammish to Moffat is 2.3. And there is Josh Cook. He's on his penultimate lap. And Sam Tornoff's race is done. And the day, as Tim was making the point earlier, has just taken a turn for the worse. So he'll be at the back for race 2. And he can only now hope that he can push forward to get somewhere near the front on the reverse grid for race 3, which of course is extended this year to the top 12. Down towards the chicane, Senna Proctor is still stuck behind Chris Smiley. He does a good job of defending. Chris, who came from Minis, spent a season racing in Germany in the Sirocco Cup, so disappeared from the UK scene for a while, but has always wanted to be on the touring car grid. He starts the last lap then, running in 7th place, but Proctor has not given up.
Well, I mean, Chris Smiley lacks absolutely nothing in confidence in himself. He said, I know I can do this. He just wanted to get a sniff of a front grid position, which he'd achieved superbly in qualifying. Bit of a shame he'd elected to take that hard tyre, because he may not get such a good starting position again, but he'll be relatively ballast-free in race 2 and on the soft tyre. There are more tyres, more on the prime tyre, but there are more cars taking that harder, slower tyre in race 2, so he could find himself with a very quick car.
Yes, he'll have better tyres, but he will gain a bit of weight on the results. However, for Josh Cook, the day has finally come. It's been a long time coming, and he has delivered in style, because for the first time in his career, Josh Cook is a British Touring Car Championship race winner. He wins round 4 at Donington. Dan Cammish is 2nd, Aidan Moffat 3rd, and Brett Smith, a great drive, his best yet, for 4th. for Eurotech. 5th will go the way of James Cole. 6th is Matt Neal, up from 17th on the grid. And we're not done yet, because there Jack Goff falls back behind Ash Sutton. Across the line, 7th is Smiley, 8th is Proctor, 9th is Oliver, Turkington 10th, Collard 11th. The drag race of the line for 12th place is Ash Sutton ahead of Jack Goff. Ingram is 14th, and it's Rob Austin 15th with Tom Boardman, another good overtaker, 29th to 16th, and Jake Hill from the back of the grid to 17th place, and still they come. 18th is Nash, 19th Ollie Jackson, Andrew Jordan 20th from 30th on the grid, Bobby Thompson 21st, then it's Rory Butcher, Adam Morgan up to 23rd from Kane, Plato, Price, Bushell, Smelt, Chilton and Jelly. What a race.
Yeah, so more firsts for BTCC with Josh Cook and the Power Maxed Vauxhall getting their first win, the very first podium for Dan Camish in his BTCC career, and the first for the new Honda Type R. So more firsts in the BTCC. It keeps delivering, and once again it's the youngsters who are up the front.
You've taken the words I was about to say. It is this next generation of touring car driver grabbing the headlines. Josh Cook, we've seen in the championship for a number of seasons, having his best ever race. Dan Camish, new this year, comes with his big reputation and has shown why he has that in that race. A word about Tom Chilton, down in 29th, but he did, after his pit stop, right at the end, do the fastest lap of the race, therefore taking that point away from Josh Cook. But absolutely exemplary drive by Josh.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Chilton, who finished 29th, set the fastest lap of the race, and Matt Simpson, who was 31st after that early problem, he ran behind the winner Cook for the whole of the second half of the race, didn't drop anything. So he had good pace, but he won't be happy with that result.
Indeed not. Josh Cook is a winner. Round 4 of the BTCC is his by 3.4 seconds from Dan Camish, and then the best of the independents, Aidan Moffat 3rd from Brett Smith. James Cole 5th and Matt Neal 6th. It's 7th for Chris Smiley ahead of Senna Proctor. Tom Oliphant is 9th, and Colin Turkington rounds out the top 10. 11th goes to Rob Collard ahead of Ash Sutton. Then it's Jack Goff and Tom Ingram in the 2 heaviest cars. Rob Austin 15th, and then Tom Boardman from Jake Hill. James Nash 18th from Ollie Jackson, and Bobby Thompson comes home 20th. 21st is Andrew Jordan's ahead of Rory Butcher. Then Adam Morgan 23rd from Michael Kane and Jason Plato, who we saw being roughed up. Josh Price 26th from Mike Bushell. Sam Smelt was on the grass. Tom Chilton on the grass twice and in the pits. He's 29th. And Stephen Jelly 30th ahead of Matt Simpson. And Sam Tordoff, the one retirement, as we saw, having been in 3rd place and looking good, he ends up a retirement with 6 laps to go to the end.